Hello everyone. Shivananda Sharma Memorial RV College Video Lectures and ISR Initiative. SSMRV College is one of the premier institutes run by the prestigious RV group of institutions has come up with a unique initiative to engage students at the time of this unforeseen medical emergency caused by corona outbreak. As a socially responsible institution, we would like to connect academically with students to make the losses cost. In this connection, myself, M. Rajata, Department of BBA, has posted a video on the subject Human Resource Management and the topic is Performance Appraisal. Please watch the video till the end, like, share with your peer groups and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. I am discussing about the topic Performance Appraisal. The contents covered in this video are meaning, objectives, features, need, advantages and methods of performance appraisal. Meaning of performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is the systematic evaluation of the performance of the employees and to understand the abilities of a person for further growth and development. Performance appraisal is defined as a systematic process in which the personality and the performance of an employee is assessed by the supervisor or manager against predefined standards such as knowledge of the job, quality and quantity of output, leadership abilities, attitude towards work, attendance, cooperation, judgment, versatility, health, initiative, and so forth. In an organization, it is very essential for an individual to know his performance. The organization will make an evaluation of the human resource according to the knowledge, whatever the job he has been assigned, his regularity, his initiativeness, leadership qualities, then quantity of output. It is very essential for an individual to perform because all his appraisal or promotion, his abilities totally depend upon this evaluation. So an organization from the HR, they make a systematic evaluation of the performance of employees. This particular process is known as performance appraisal. These are the components of performance appraisal. You can see in the diagram given. The first step is define expectation. So the company has some expectation towards the employee towards whatever the job he is being assigned, and it has been followed by measure and evaluate. Whatever the task which is being given by the organization has to be measured and it has to be evaluated. Then it is followed by feedback. Whatever the individual has been made, it is being evaluated and provided feedback, then later followed by record performance. So finally the performance of the particular individual is being recorded. So these are the components of performance appraisal. Objectives of performance appraisal. First one, to maintain records in order to determine compensation packages, wage structure, salary raises, etc. Second one, to identify the strength and weakness of employees to place right men on right job. Third one, to maintain and assess the potential present in a person for further growth and development. Fourth one, to provide a feedback to employees regarding their performance and related status. Fifth one, to provide a feedback to employees regarding their performance and related status. Sixth one, it serves as a basis for influencing working habits of the employees. Seventh one, to review and retain the promotional and other training programs. Features of performance appraisal. It is a systematic process of evaluation of an employee. As we all know that the concept of performance appraisal is a systematic process. It is a particular process used to evaluate an employee for his further benefit. The second one is analysis of the strength and weakness of an employee. It is very most important for an organization to analyze an individual according to his strength and weakness. The strengths may be what he is good at or whether he is initiative or what are his leadership qualities. Then the weaknesses, what are the particular areas where the particular employee has to focus and improve. The third one is to find out how well an employee is performing the job. This is very most important for the employee as well as the organization to assess the performance of the employee on the basis of his job. The fourth one is appraisal is done periodically. Usually in the organization, this appraisal is done once in a year to analyze how well the employee is working or performing in the organization. The next one is it is based on a definite plan. So they have a particular process like where how to start, what are the criterias, what are the areas or fields to be taken into consideration while evaluating. The next one is performance appraisal is different from job evaluation. So totally the job evaluation is different from performance appraisal. And at last, performance appraisal is a continuous process that is accepted by every organization. Every organization, irrespective of either it is a small sector or it is a big organization, every organization will follow the performance appraisal and it is a continuous process. Need for performance appraisal. So is there any importance or need for the performance appraisal in the organization? Yes, there is a need because to analyze an employee's performance to his growth, future betterment, and also from the organization perspective, it is very most important that performance appraisal to be made in an organization. So evaluation of an employee's performance helps to take management decisions on transfer, promotions, increments, etc. As we know that the concept of performance appraisal is a systematic evaluation, and we also know that it is done once in a year or periodically. So it helps the management to make decisions on either we have to promote this particular employee or we have to give him a increment or any incentive or hike a particular salary or transfer this particular employee. The second one, performance appraisal helps to ascertain the training and development needs of the employer. Suppose if an employer is not performing according to the criterias or any weakness, to overcome this, the organization will provide the training and development for a employee. So they have to analyze the training and development assessment for the methods. Then third one, performance appraisal or an individual performance evaluation helps in designing the reward system. We all know that each individual works for his monetary benefit, and also organization perspective is also looked into the profit. So money is the important motive here. So this performance appraisal helps both the individual performing himself and also the organization achieving in the profits. The fourth one, the feedback presided after evaluating the performance of a individual act as a motivator. So motivation is very important in the organization for an employee to work. So this feedback, suppose if it is a positive feedback, then the employee is very happy and he's self motivated to do the particular task in the organization. Then the performance appraisal acts as a validation of the selection procedure. It plays a very important role in the selection process of the performance appraisal. Advantages or benefits of performance appraisal. First one, improves performance. An employee who is working in an organization where he has to survive in the particular organization, he has to show his performance. So if he is performing, then the organization is recognizing him. So this motivates him to improve his performance continuously. The second one, promotion. When when an employee is serious about his growth, then he actually works whatever the work it has been allotted to him for the promotion. If there is a promotion that is moving to the higher level, so he get more benefits. The third one is compensation. So compensation relates to the monetary benefit, so he will be getting some hike in the salary, so which is a motivation for him to perform his job. The fourth one, employee development. Overall development of an employee can also be assessed by performance appraisal. So this is a particular advantage or benefit because the employee's overall benefit has been considered by the organization, which can be contributed towards the development. Then communication. So it helps in better communication from the particular organization from the employee. Then correct efficiency, whatever the deficiencies in the organization or from the employee perspective, so it can be corrected through the mode of performance appraisal. Motivation is very essential employee to work. So not only he has to motivate for his personal contribution or organization, so this motivate is personal objective should be converted into organizational objective and work. So if he contributes, then self motivation is already boosted. And last, career growth. So if he is seriously career oriented, so this performance appraisal helps him to build a great career in his future perspective. Next, we'll move on to the methods of performance appraisal. The methods of performance appraisal can be classified into traditional methods and modern methods. Some of the traditional methods of performance appraisal are as follows: ranking method, rating scales method, paired comparison method, grading system, force distribution method, checklist method, field review method, confidential report, forced choice method, essay method, and performance tests and observation. The first one is ranking method. It is the simplest and old method of merit rating. In this method, the superior ranks his or her subordinates in the order of their merit, starting from the best to the worst. Every employee is judged as a whole without distinguishing the rates from his performance. All the employees of a work group may be ranked as number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, so on. This method is useful only if the number of employees is very small. Under this method, the particular superior or the manager start analyzing or measure the performance of the employee. So here in this particular method, they follow the ranks starting from 1 to 10. 1 can be ranked as the highest, followed by the next ranks. So performances ranks, and this method is useful only if the number of employees is very small. So whoever gets the rank 1, he is considered as more performance oriented, or he has completed his task, followed by the next ranks. Second one, rating scales method. In this method, each trait or characteristic is to be rated is represented by the scale on which a rater indicates the degree to which an employee possesses that trait or characteristic. This is the simplest and most popular technique for appraising employee performance. The typical rating scale system consists of several numerical scales, each representing a job-related performance criterion such as dependability, initiative, attendance, output, attitude, and cooperation. Each scale ranges from excellent to poor. In the previous method, that is ranking method, a overall ranking was given to a employee to assess his performance. But in rating scales method, each trait or characteristic is rated. For example, the knowledge of the job. The particular manager has to check the knowledge of the job of the employee. So he can give some of the ratings like excellent, good, average, poor. So each trait or characteristic is being rated on some of the rating scale, and it has been considered as one of the simplest and most popular technique which is being used by the organization for employee performance. Third one, paired comparison method. The paired comparison method is almost similar to ranking method when variations are made in the ranking method so that it can easily be used in large groups. It becomes paired comparison method. In paired comparison method, every person is compared trait-wise with the other persons one at a time. The number of times one person is compared with others is tallied on a piece of paper. With the help of these numbers, ranks are allotted to the employees. A paid comparison method is an improved version of ranking method. Under this method, employees of a group are compared with one another at a time. If there is a group of 5 employees, example A, B, C, D and E, then A's performance is compared with of B's and decision is taken to make whose performance is better. Similarly, A's performance is compared with C, D, E and decisions regarding comparatively who is better performed are taken into consideration. So the number of decisions are determined by the number of employees to be compared. Then later the results are tabulated and every employee is ranked. So this particular method is more reliable when the particular number of employees are small. So it can be compared with each other. So a particular performance is compared with the similar number of people, which can be easy for getting conclusions who is performing better. Fourth one, grading system. In this method, certain characteristics or abilities of the performance are identified in advance and the employees are put into the category according to their behavior and traits. Such categories are defined as outstanding, good, average, below average and poor in terms of letters like A, B, C, D, E, where A indicates the best and E the poorest. This method is used for the promotion based on performance. Under this grading technique, the performance evaluation is made under certain categories which are determined in advance. Then the particular selected categories include the grades like A stands for outstanding, B for very good, C for good, D for average and E for the poor. These grades are based on certain selected features of the employee such as their knowledge, judgment, analytical ability, leadership qualities, self expression, etc. The actual performance of the employees compared with the above grades and the employees are allotted the grades which speaks for their performance. Fifth one, forced distribution method. The method assumes that employees' performance level conforms to a normal statistical distribution. This is useful for rating a large number of employees, job performance and promo ability. It tends to eliminate bias. It is also highly simple to understand and easy to apply in appraising the performance of employees in organizations. Under this method, the rater has to choose between the descriptions and statements of equal worth describing the person. The task of scoring in this method is not given to the supervisor but it is given to the personnel department. This method is used particularly with the object of avoiding the rater's biases or prejudice towards the employee. The advantage of this method is that it has greater objectivity than most other methods. Sixth one, checklist method. The basic purpose of utilizing checklist method is to ease the evaluation burden upon the rater. In this method, a series of statements, that is questions with their answers in yes or no, are prepared by the HR department. The checklist is then presented to the rater to tick appropriate answers relevant to the appraisal. Each question carries a weightage in relationship to their importance. It is one of the simplest form of evaluation method. Under this method, a list of statements describing the job related behavior or traits of the employees is given to the evaluator. If the evaluator perceives or thinks that the employee possesses this particular trait, then the statement is ticked or he will write as yes. And if the evaluator feels that this employee do not possess this quality, he can leave it as blank or he can write it as no. Then the evaluator submits this particular information to the human resource department where the counting of the check is carried out and the particular performance of the employee can be assessed. Seventh one, field review method. In this method, an employee is not appraised by his direct superior but by another person, usually from the HR department. This is an appraisal by someone outside the assessee's own department, usually someone from the corporate office or the HR department. The basic idea is that such a person may take a more objective view in the appraisal as he is not under the pressure as the superior of the employee may be. The rater also conducts the interview with the employee and his superior for making a qualitative assessment of the employee. Field reviews are useful and are done with when comparable information is needed from employees in different units or location. Under this method, a supervisor is interviewed from a HR expert from HR department. The evaluator has some test questions which is usually memorized him which he asks to the supervisors. The supervisor is expected to give his opinion about the subordinate, such as about his weakness and strength, about his outstanding ability, willingness to cooperate, etc. The evaluator records the details which are approved by the supervisor, and these can be kept in the personal file of the employee. To make this method more effective, the evaluator must be well versed and competent in his job. So, he can also have a direct interview or a conversation with the employee to cross verify with the superior. And this method is useful for a large organization where lots of employees are working, and it is not suitable for small organization. Eighth one, confidential report. It is a traditional way of appraising employees. Evaluation is made by the immediate boss or supervisor for giving effect to promotion and transfer. Usually, a structured format is devised to collect information on employees' strength, weakness, intelligence, attitude, character, attendance, discipline, etc. report. A confidential report, it may be done by his supervisor, can be act as a major determinant of the subordinate's promotion or transfer. A particular format or a pattern of the report may be vary from one organization to the other organization. Usually, the particular report consists of the name of the employee, the designation and his present duties, the service with the company, the age of the employee, the qualification, the present scale, and whatever the particular report says that whether he is doing all his particular duties. So, this report can be helpful for an employee for his performance appraisal in the form of promotion and transfers. Ninth one, forced choice method. This method requires the rater to choose from statements, often in pairs, that appear equally favorable or equally unfavorable. The statements, however, are designed to distinguish between successful and unsuccessful performance. The rater selects one statement from the pair without knowing which statement correctly described the successful job behavior. Under this method, the rater has to choose between description and statements of seemingly equally word describing the person to or in a particular question. As you can see in the particular slide, there are four choice pairs. Example like the employee works hard or works quickly, then shows initiative or he is less responsive to the customers. He produces poor quality, so lacks good working habits. So the particular approaches says that the particular employee or the particular employer, that is he has to rate on the particular pairs which is already available. And this approach is also known as forced choice method because the rater is forced to select statements which are already given. 10th one, essay method. Essay method is the simplest one among various appraisal methods available. In this method, the rater writes a narrative description on employees' strength, weakness, past performance, potential, and suggestions for improvement. Its positive point is that it is simple in use, it does not require complex formats and extensive specific training to complete it. Under this method, no quantitative approach is undertaken. It is open-ended appraisal of a employee. So the evaluator describes the employee in his own words, whatever he perceives about the employee's performance. He includes in his description like the knowledge, the skill, the interpersonal relationship, the quality, the temperament, need for the future development, etc. of the employees. The evaluator tries his level best to describe the particular facts which are correct, and the report on evaluation of the performance is submitted in a essay form. So the supervisor can reveal more about the employee while he cannot hide his weakness or strong point. And this method is considered as the most subjective method. And he can describe the particular abilities properly, and it is one of the easiest method of performance appraisal. 11th one, performance test and observation. With a limited number of jobs, employee assessment may be based upon his test of knowledge or skills. The test may be an actual demonstration of skills. The test may be reliable and validated to be useful. In order for the test to be job related, observation should be made under circumstances likely to be encountered. Under this particular method of performance appraisal, the superior, so he want to test the knowledge of a employee, so he may give some of the test, or he can make some of the evaluation to know what are the skills and knowledge the particular employee possess. Or one more easiest method he can follow is observation. So on a regular basis he will observe the employee, what are the tasks which has been given to him and what are the things the employee has been achieved. So he may make a close observation of the performance of the employee. So this is one of the easiest and traditional method of performance appraisal. Hope you have all understood the traditional methods. Next we will move on to the modern methods. The modern methods of performance appraisal are as follows. The first one, management by objectives. The second one, 360-degree feedback. Third one, behaviorally anchored rating system, asset accounting method. The first modern method of performance appraisal is management by objectives. The MBO approach involves establishing performance goals jointly by the superior and subordinate. For this program to be effective, both superior and subordinate must be actively involved in objective formulation and agree on the methods to be used to assess performance. This is one of the latest appraisal techniques. This is a detailed management system which has been applied to the management process like planning, controlling of performance appraisal. And it was first suggested by Peter Drucker, a way of promoting managerial control. And MBO is a way of promoting managerial self-control. This is a process where the superior and the subordinate managers of an organization jointly identify the common goals, define each individual major area of responsibility in the terms of results expected. And this particular measures can act as a guide for operating the particular task and assess the contribution of each of the members. This MBO can follow certain steps. Like in the first step, we can set the objective. Then in the second step, we can jointly set the goal by the employee and the superior. And in the third step, we can review the performance of the employee. The fourth one, check points, means that is monitoring whether any deviations are being created by the employee. And the last one is feedback. So if we follow this particular steps, then it is one of the effective and efficient method of performance appraisal in the recent days. The third modern method of performance appraisal is behaviorally anchored rating scale, an approach that has received considerable attention by academics in past years involves bars. This method uses critical incidents to serve as anchor statements on the scale. A bar's rating form usually contains 6 to 10 specifically defined performance dimensions, each with 5 or 6 critical incident anchors. The dimensions have both negative and positive job related critical incidents. These scales combine major elements from the critical incidents and adjective rating scale approaches. This is a new technique developed very recently, and this is more equitable appraisal method compared to various other techniques. This approach uses the critical incidents to provide anchors, which means examples for different points on the rating scales, and the particular steps has to be followed in development of developing these bars. Firstly, the supervisor has to identify any performance like different types of activities that create a job. Then secondly, they have to prepare a set of critical incidents for each job dimensions. Then third, an independent separate group of supervisors has to be categorized the critical incidents for each dimension of the job. Then lastly, these incidents should be regularly categorized and kept in a particular dimension, and these scales had to be provided for the rating or the performance. So it can be showing either the good or the particular bad performance of the employees. The fourth method of performance appraisal is human asset accounting method. In human resource accounting, the money value is attached to the value of firm's internal human resource and its external customer goodwill. In human resource accounting, the performance of the employees is judged in terms of cost incurred and contributions made by the employees. This is a new technique which has been evolved by the corporate organizations. Human asset accounting is a method which measures the value of human resource in terms of money, and also they have incorporated the value in their published accounts. The particular organization will take some of the variables like management policies, decisions, the leadership, strategies, skills, behavior, and also some of the things like loyalty towards the work, attitude, motivation, collective capacity for effective interaction, the communication, decision making. The particular attributes can be taken into consideration for the performance appraisal. Many Indian companies have introduced this method of human asset accounting, and they have also developed their own modules to assess this human resource accounting as their part of accounting system. So as the day-to-day value of the firm of your human organization can be estimated, so this type of performance appraisal methods can be adopted. One more modern technique of performance appraisal is 360-degree feedback. In this method of performance appraisal, information is collected from all persons around the employees by his superiors, subordinates, peers, and internal and external customers. Hence, the title 360-degree feedback. The feedback is usually used for determining training and development needs rather than the compensation revision. In this particular uh, method of performance appraisal, the superior rate the performance of their subordinates, and also the subordinates also evaluate the performance of superior on some of the general characteristics like communication skills, leadership, interaction with colleagues, punctuality, innovation, etc. And this particular performance appraisal is not only collected by his superior, but apart from his superior, the feedback is collected from the subordinates, the peers, the customers whom the particular employee has been interacting with. So, as it becomes a round of 360, it has given the name of 360 appraisal, means the particular feedback is being considered from all the different categories of people for the performance appraisal. Thank you for watching.